Look, spring overseeding isn't easy. That's why most professionals recommend doing it in the fall. But if you're set on tackling it now, there are a few key things that you need to get right, or you'll end up wasting a ton of time, money, and a whole lot of effort. Today, we're breaking down 4 common overseeding mistakes that can definitely ruin your results. I've made some of these same mistakes in the past, so trust me, you don't want to learn the hard way like I did. Let's get into it. Now obviously, I'm not very close to overseeding as we are dormant still here in Minnesota. But I know the rest of the country is getting very close to overseeding, so I wanted to get through these mistakes for you guys that are getting ready. Now the biggest mistake I see people make in the spring is rushing out to seed their lawn after a few warm days. When the air temperatures start hitting the 60s and 70s, it's really easy to feel like it's time to start tackling lawn projects. But that could be a costly misstep. When it comes to germinating grass seed, what really matters is soil temperature, not air temperature. Now, a few warm days can make it feel like spring is in full swing, but the ground takes much longer to warm up. In early spring, the nighttime temps can drop very low, and what that does is pull a lot of heat out of the soil. Also, cloud cover, rain, and even shady areas can drastically slow down soil warming. So even though the air feels warm during the day, the soil could still be sitting in the 40s or low 50s, far too cold for most grass seed to germinate. So let's go through an example of a bad week to seed. Let's say it's early March, like it is now, and you've got highs in the 60s, maybe even the 70s all week. You might think, hey, it's getting warm, let's get this seed down. But what you fail to realize are that the lows are in the upper 30s, bringing that soil temp way back down during the night, and those cold overnight temps are gonna stall your germination. Your seed's gonna sit there, do nothing, and not germinate. So how do you know when your soil is warm enough? The best way to do this is to use a regular meat thermometer in your lawn, just like the one you use when you're grilling. All you have to do is stick it about 2 inches into the soil and check the reading in the morning before the sun heats up the surface. You want to see a consistent 55 degrees or higher before overseeding. Now, if you don't have a soil thermometer, you can check online soil temperature maps, but just remember those are averages and might not reflect your exact lawn conditions. Watching overnight lows is another clue. If they're still dipping into the 30s or low 40s, chances are your soil is still too cold. The second biggest issue I see is that beginners don't realize that you cannot put seed and pre-emergent down at the same time. Look, it's an easy mistake to make. You're gearing up for the season, grabbing everything you need to improve your lawn, the seed for the bare spots, pre-emergent to keep the weeds out. It seems like a logical combo. But here's the catch. Pre-emergent doesn't just block weeds, it blocks all seeds, including the grass you're trying to grow. So if you put down both at the same time, you're basically throwing money away. That pre-emergent is going to prevent most, if not all, of your new grass seed from growing. It's like locking the door before your guests even arrive. Your grass seed never even gets the chance to sprout. And here's something else a lot of people don't realize. Most weed and feed products contain pre-emergent as well. So if you've already put down a weed and feed in early spring, unfortunately now you cannot seed. The pre-emergent in those products is doing its job, which means it's also blocking your seed from germinating. If you're not sure, you can check the label, and if it mentions something like crabgrass prevention or contains something like prodiamine or dithiopyr, you'll have to wait until that barrier breaks down before you can successfully overseed, which usually means waiting till fall. Now I can already see some of the comments coming and people asking, what if I just use a seeding friendly pre-emergent like tenacity that can help prevent some weeds without stopping the grass seed from germinating? But here's the thing, you're still limiting yourself because those products don't block all the major weeds that traditional pre-emergents would. So if you're trying to seed in the spring, you have to choose. Do you want to focus on getting new grass established, or do you want to focus on preventing weeds? Because doing both at the same time just doesn't work. Sure, you might stop a few weeds from popping up with tenacity, but in my experience, it's not worth the cost or the effort of putting it down. Mistake number 3 is thinking that your new grass can handle summer on its own. Overseeding in the spring is already a challenge, but if you don't take care of that new grass properly, summer heat will wipe it out before it even gets established. A lot of people think that once grass seed germinates and it starts growing, it's good to go. But young grass is weak and nowhere near as resilient as mature turf. Without the right care, summer heat will stress it out, thin it out, and in some cases, completely kill it off. The biggest issue with this is its shallow roots. When grass first starts growing, its root system is tiny. It sits right near the surface where the soil dries out the fastest. If you don't keep up with watering, those delicate roots won't stand a chance once summer temperatures spike. This is why consistent moisture is critical. You just can't rely on the occasional rainstorm and hope for the best. So what's the right approach? Now this might be a little contradictory to what you heard in the past, but once your grass establishes, you're going to want to water deep and frequent. Your new grass needs at least 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water per week to develop strong roots. That means watering every day for the first couple of weeks, then gradually reducing the frequency as the roots grow deeper. If you cut back too soon, the roots won't establish properly and your grass will struggle to survive once that heat really kicks in. Another mistake, mowing too soon or too short. Young grass needs time to establish before you start cutting it, and when you do, never mow it too low. Keep it at around 3 or 4 inches to provide shade for the soil, reduce moisture loss, and help it handle heat stress. Scalping it too early exposes those weak roots to the brutal summer sun, leading to burnout. Fertilizer is another thing to be careful with. Too much nitrogen in the summer can actually do more harm than good. It encourages fast top growth when the grass should be focusing on root development. Now you're going to need to feed your lawn, so go for a balanced, slow-release fertilizer or something with sea kelp in it to help with heat stress. The bottom line is spring-seeded grass isn't as tough as mature turf. If you don't stay on top of watering, mowing, and proper maintenance, summer will take it out in no time. The last mistake I see people make is picking the wrong grass seed. Look, not all grass seed is created equal, and picking the wrong one can set you up for disappointment. A lot of people assume that grass seed is grass seed, but the type of seed you choose has a huge impact on how your lawn looks and performs. If you want the best results, skip the big box store seed. Now, most of those bags are packed with cheap fillers, cheap grass seed varieties, and even weed seeds. And here's the thing, the seed might germinate, but it won't necessarily give you that thick, dark green lawn that you're after. A lot of bargain seed mixes contain lower quality grass types that don't have great color, grow unevenly, or just don't hold up as well under stress. You might also see coated seed on the label. That coating is supposed to help with moisture retention, but what they don't tell you is that it can take up half the weight of the bag. So if you buy a 10-pound bag of seed, you might only actually be getting 5 pounds of actual grass seed. So if you want the darkest and best performing seed, I recommend NightShift. It's the darkest seed on the market right now, and it's what I personally use. I've tested a lot of grass seed over the years, and nothing even comes close to the deep, rich color you're gonna get with NightShift. It's designed for homeowners who want that premium golf course quality lawn without having to guess what's in the bag. A high quality seed blend will establish faster, look way better, and require less overseeding in the future, which means fewer bags of seed, less work, and a better looking lawn year after year. So if you're serious about getting a very nice lawn, don't settle for the cheap big box store seed. Go pick up some NightShift and get that super dark lawn like everyone wants. Now, if you want the step-by-step process on how to overseed your lawn with NightShift, you can check out this video right here. Now get off my lawn.